Hey, I'm Jeff the Junk Seller, and this presentation is going to be the third of three about when my storage units were burglarized. The object in this one is probably the finest thing that I've ever owned. It was an ivory triptych of Marie Antoinette. It was carved in Dieppe, France, probably circa 1870 to 1880 or so. Thing that's interesting, this was maybe 17 inches tall, including the base. And the thing that is interesting about this piece is this was actually tourist wear. This was they were making there was a huge industry in Dieppe making art for the industrialists that were coming over to the continent from England. They were coming to buy high art and collectibles. A lot of paintings and a lot of carvings, a lot of sculpture came out of the area during this time. You know, the wealthy industrialist. You know, it was all new money, and these were these were carved. I believe that it was either a German or an Austrian because of the initials of the carver. That I'll hold private because it's going to be a diagnostic information for when these are when the piece is discovered. You know, and it's like this is a unique piece. It's hand carved. It's there's not another one like it, and I believe whenever I find it that I'll be able to recover it quite easily. Now the guy that had financed that had rented the storage unit for the guy that I was calling the Prowler. He is a vendor out at Canton First Mondays, and he didn't show up that February. He was supposed to have been out there at the market, and his partner was there by himself, and the word on the street was that he had somebody had on the spur of the moment gifted him a ticket to go to the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. I'll tell you what I think it was. I think that after he sold the trunk down at Warrenton, I think that he took off. I think that he got himself a lead on somebody. He either put it in an auction or he sold it to a dealer in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this piece will show up in a catalog somewhere. It's just a matter of time before I get it back. It may be 3, 4, 5 years before I get it again. But I got this at Canton, and it's one of the reasons that I started buying storage units because the guy that owned it, he had gotten it because he is the favorite at a place where he rents storage units, and they needed units that needed cleaned, and they gifted him all the contents of the units just to empty them out, and this came in that, and he and I we have a problem now. I used to try to defend the guy. He's kind of controversial out there. He's a real mess, and when he showed me the piece, he said that it was bone, and it had a price tag of $125 on it. And I asked him if that was his price, and he said, "Yeah, I think I can get that for it." Well, I tell him, "You can get that for it because I'm going to pay it to you." And I said, "I don't think that it's bone. I think it's ivory." And at that point, he peeled the tape off and said, "Well, if it's ivory, I got to call somebody." Well, that's an ethical violation. I already told him that I was going to buy it, but he called somebody, and then he came over to me later and said that he'd been offered $250, but since I saw it first, he was going to give me options on it. And at first, I told him I didn't want it because of the he price jacked me, and I was upset about it. But I sat there and I thought for a few minutes. I'd found comps that showed that it should sell between $1,500 and $2,500 at a Sotheby's auction, a similar piece. And I went back and did some more research, but I decided that the only person that would be screwed over if I didn't buy it would be me. So I went out and paid him the $250. I wasn't happy about it, but the guy that I bought it out from under, happened to be the guy that came back and stole it. And I saw them have an interaction later that day, and and I think that the guy that I bought it from cooperated with him, trying to help him get information about how to come and get it from me. Um, it was just a bunch of dirty business, and I've held all of those guys accountable, which is it's kind of funny because they're not used to that, and I just do it by keeping the issues alive, keeping the story alive, not letting it die. But I paid him the $250, and then later that afternoon, I did some more research, and I found out that that piece had sold at the Sotheby's auction. I think it was 5,800 British pounds, which at the time would have translated to be like 5,800. I think it was $7,200 US dollars. The conversion rate at the time when it sold. But Ivory, it's getting more difficult to sell. This is outside of the CITES compact. It's over 100 years old. In fact, it's 140 years old, and you can tell by the style. It's a triptych. It opens up on the bottom, has three panels where her dress is. And, it was in absolutely immaculate condition, but there was a method used to secure it to the base, and there were initials on the bottom of it that nobody knows except for the possessor and me. And I'll be able to use that as diagnostics to get it back whenever it's discovered. But it's likely an auction catalog that came out of Las Vegas. But this is an absolutely incredible piece. I wound up paying him $250 for it, and it's one of the reasons that I got into storage units. I was like, if this kind of material is showing up in storage units, then I need to try my hand at it. And there was another piece that came at a similar time, was a Curta mechanical calculator, and that another friend of mine got that in a $40 storage unit, and I think I paid him $25 for it, and this is a $1,250 mechanical calculator. But those two things weighed very, very heavy on me whenever I would hear stories about people buying storage units. And one day I just said, I got to do it myself. I got to go out there and buy some units. But most people think that ivory it's illegal to sell ivory. It's not. CITES compact. You have to read it. There might be a chance on some of it. They have to be put through legal process and have some testing done or get an opinion done. I don't know where to get opinion letters written. I've called around and tried to find them. I don't know. I don't know who to contact on them. But if it's of a type or a style that is old enough, I would go in. I wouldn't have a problem going into court and defending my right to own that. I don't think under CITES, but that's evolving all the time. The law on ivory, while it might be legal to own it now, it might not be later, which really seems like a crime because the university museums and other government institutions, they're able to put ivory on display that was made back in the 1930s. That was definitely outside of the compact, and they don't have a problem with it. That compact is against the individual, but not against the institution, which is a problem for me. But I hope that you, if you've enjoyed this presentation, please give it a like. And if you view some of my other content and you like that as well, then please subscribe. And thank you for viewing.